It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be talking about a new group that will be introduced in Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead in Season 6, Episode 11, which is called The Holding. This new group at this point is called The End is the Beginning, but I'm sure they're going to have an official title. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my predictions about what this group is all about, and I'm gonna bring up a theory that I have in terms of what this group is gonna do for not only Fear the Walking Dead, but maybe longer term for the Walking Dead universe. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break it all down. Alright, before we get into this, as always, if you're not a subscriber and enjoy the content by the end, consider subscribing to join our community, share and smash the like button, and press the bell to be notified when we upload. With that out of the way, let's dive right into it. So obviously in Season 6, Episode 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, we got our first glimpse at this group when we saw the spray painted messages on the walls and also the submarine that we saw that said, "The end is the beginning." Now, we did have some teases at this group even after that in Season 6, but obviously in Season 6, Episode 11, which is called The Holding, we're gonna get our first introduction to this group and what they're all about. At this point, what we know for sure is that this group has some sort of a cult-like mentality. They have someone who I'm assuming is their leader, who speaks as if the place that he's building and what he's trying to do is the solution to everything. So there's a lot of aspects that definitely make this group feel like a cult of some sort. And obviously their motto is "The end is the beginning." So I'm assuming what that refers to is that the end of the world or the apocalypse will be the beginning of a new world or something along those lines. And I'm assuming that the leader sees himself as some sort of a savior or godlike figure who can save everyone. Based on some images that were released, we can see that they have an underground bunker that they call home. They actually have a lot of vegetables and produce that they're planting and they're producing themselves. So it seems like they are a self-sufficient community of sorts, but obviously the way they approach the new world is much, much different than how everyone else does it. And obviously, because they're underground, they've essentially shielded themselves from the dead. Now, here's where my theory comes in. I think that, unlike what many people expect, this group is not going to show up and be dealt with by the end of Season 6. Them as a threat will be, but the community itself or what they have going on will not. And I'll explain what I mean by that. I think what Fear the Walking Dead is doing is a remixed version of the Commonwealth storyline from the comic book series. Now, obviously, they're not going to do the exact same thing because they're doing it on the original show, and this seems a little different. But I think what they are doing is that they're remixing that, but throwing in a twist. They're adding their own flavor to it. So, much like what they did in the comic book, and I'm assuming much like what they're going to do in Season 11 of The Walking Dead, this community will have a leader that's going to rule with an iron fist, that will brainwash people into thinking that their way is the best way, and that they are the savior, for lack of a better word, or the person that can save them from the chaos. Obviously, in the Commonwealth, it was Pamela Milton, but in the case of Fear the Walking Dead and The End is the Beginning group, it's their leader who sees himself as the person that can save everyone. He's brainwashing them into thinking that this is the solution, and he's basically forcing people to choose between being the dead or being with them. Going back to what I said earlier with the name "The End is the Beginning" and their motto, what we've seen in some of the teasers and trailers and the promo images definitely line up, because we see a walker with vines growing around it, tied to a tree, which defines life, I think, to them. And we see walkers that are decaying, that are being buried, which I think symbolize being the dead or the old world. Now, going back to what I said about similarities between this and the Commonwealth. Much like the Commonwealth, where the survivors dealt with the situation with the leader, but they didn't go to war with them necessarily, I feel like Alicia, Morgan, and everyone else will do the same thing. They will deal with their leader and their way of running things, but they're not necessarily going to go to war with them. And I think by the end of this storyline, we will see the two communities merging. Obviously, if we merge all of the food and supplies and resources that the End is the Beginning group have with what Morgan and his crew have, we're gonna see a very sustainable community, I think. Now, whether that's gonna be in the underground bunkers or at the dam where Morgan has built his camp remains to be seen. But I think at the end of the day, we will see those two communities merged into one. But with all of that said, I'm definitely interested to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about this theory. Do you think that the End is the Beginning group is going to be dealt with and exit the story, just like Virginia and her Rangers and every other villain who we've seen? Or do you think that they're doing something similar to the Commonwealth and the comic book, where this community will be merged with the original community that the survivors are a part of? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. If you're not a subscriber and enjoyed the content, subscribe to join our community and press the bell to be notified when we upload. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.